All right. So today's meeting was kind of a little bit of a mixture of things, just a normal check-in. This is a little bit of old informations. So updated was just getting a lot of progress checks of what everyone was doing. We had a couple absent people, but our programmers are busy working on some other stuff on top of, as well as people are focused on modeling and a couple other projects. So it's fine by me at least. So a lot of emphasis is just reconfiguring to more our asset production for this particular round. We have a lot of environment concepts, storyboards, and other sort of like necessary things that are requested to be done by the end of this upcoming week. And then we have a presentation and kind of going from there. So we're going to attempt to get as much as we can done. Starting from the top down. I've been doing check-ins on Fridays now, and only Fridays because it's a little bit more tangible. Dailies are kind of like when I'm able to keep note, or we're not, still kind of in a work in progress. And storyboards and environment concepts I am still working on, as well as a single character concept for Keisha. And then we have Ben working on cloth and hair effects and testing those out in Unreal Engine. We have Connor focusing on texture studies, some light studies. It's not listed here. Park pathing, bringing characters into Unreal Engine, and he's still working on more like researching morph targets. So hopefully we will be able to see some details just a little further along. Chili is focused on drawing, actually swapped. So they focused originally on drawing Kim, which is one of the support male characters, some story beats, and some concept arts for a couple scenes, which includes some stressful scenes, one of the death scenes, and a bunch of other kind of very intense situations. Also working on close-up portraits of Damien and the tree creature. Colin has been working on darkroom blocking and finishing up the darkroom blocking, a bunch of ad sets, and a couple lighting and texturing studies. We have Houston is focused on environment concept art. Currently, the Damien sculpt, sketching Kim's full body, and some storyboards, which include the introductory scenes, such as the train station and some of the tree scenes. Then John has been working on polishing the station and the stress hallway blocking and a couple more like updated environment blocks. Ryan has been focused on rigging the female character, testing some animation transfers, and blocking out the stress labyrinth scene. Cameron has been focusing on tweaking the female character mesh and some asset production. And then our programmer is still working on some animation things, so AI pathing for some of the side characters to kind of follow our player character. And that's kind of roughly whatever we were talking about for the day. We're also trying to prepare for a presentation that will be the following week after this upcoming week. And so we will be preparing for that as well. I still have some notes on like the kind of color and sort of variations of aesthetic we would be going for, kind of textures, which is currently like more of a gothic lighting, hand painted, more painterly, kind of aiming more towards a stylized, but with realistic proportions aesthetic, and like a restricted tonal palette as well. As then going further down, just kind of a lot of like little details here and there that I'm just kind of checking in with everybody. As for some personal work, I have been focused on obviously detailing all of these events as they happen. And here is some check-ins from various people in the past couple days. So the programmer checking in. This was updated kind of lighting of the block out, some light studies of the park with some temporary geometry. So this is one scene that's kind of the party with the lights or the memorial. This is another scene at sunset. A further scene that's more morning sunrise, kind of a more ambient variation, and just continuing from there. Then we have Cameron's first pass through of the female body sculpt, which was slightly tweaked in proportion. And then some blocking screenshots for texture studies of the cubicle scene. So it's very much kind of like the office cubicles and a bunch of other kind of crazy things happening visually. So these are all kind of like some of the various things we were working on. Ryan is also currently redoing the painting weights on the rigged character for this one up here. And with that, that's kind of a rough review of the week. A lot of it's kind of been going up and down as work in progress scenarios, just because everyone is working on a lot of assets we need to get done for presentation on May 4th. And I've been doing a kind of a little bit of things here and there. Why is that paused? Oh, okay, because I swapped screens. I'm going to swap to a different screen, which is kind of my current pass-throughs of the characters I've been working on. Okay, I'm hoping that this is visible. We will find out eventually, but so one of the things I've been working on is the D&D story beats. This is a real life location that I'm referencing from the Crick Castle games. I thought the layout of the location was very intriguing, and so I have some perspective guides of a rough idea of kind of the general geometry shapes, and then I'm going to fill in the space a lot better with gradients and objects. And then in another file, we have Keisha, who I've been tweaking based off of requests and references. And so Keisha's body proportions, frontal at least, is still being tweaked. We're going to give her a little bit more fuller body and a smaller chest because of wanting to have a little bit more of a rounded body shape, very like huggable, friendly person. And her frontal has been kind of like tweaked with some other annotated notes from the previous conversation about her. So hopefully by the end of this semester, we'll get a majority of this visual aesthetics done. And I'm just focusing more on beats currently because Keisha's nearly done. I just want to add an additional 3/4 view that's a little more lively and to her personality. And then going from there, just kind of like a list of different storyboards that I need to get done, which will be this D&D shop scene, then a polished concept of it, the dark room scene with the photography, and then there's 2 variants of it, and then the hospital scene kind of polished up as well, and then some concept of this ferro fluid that will be kind of like a lingering anxiety and substance in the background. And with that kind of roughly my particular progress update, that's all I really have for this particular kind of recap update video. And so yeah, my team is doing the best they can, and it's been kind of a hectic last couple of weeks as everyone is dealing with classwork and finals. So I'm hoping everyone can get as much as they're able to done and not to fret about it. I want everyone to be confident in what they're working on and not feel super stressed. And so, yeah, I will continue this on another next week and see if we can get a little bit more of a longer update with some other voices from the team. I decided not to record it because half of the group sort of appeared early and then had to leave, and then the other half appeared later. So I didn't want to record it just because it wouldn't be really convenient unless the whole team was there to kind of have a good conversation. I am very respectful and caring towards my team, and I want them to always feel like they're comfortable and enjoying themselves as much as they can. So yeah, I will talk to you next week, and hopefully it'll be a fun update.